to know. We want to know if the government's keeping secrets from us. And I think the idea that the government is keeping secrets from us, I think that's what makes us curious. The whole Area 51 thing. It's like the red button, don't touch. You put a privacy screen and people want to see why. You close your blinds and your neighbor's like, oh, I wonder why they're closing their blinds. It's just people are curious to what you're hiding from them. It's peekaboo, right? It's peekaboo. Kids love peekaboo for a reason. What's behind your hands, Daddy? So I think the fact that they have kept this from us, whatever it is what makes us curious. Now, there's two paths, right? And I think most people think it's one path or the other. Either it's these UFOs that the government recovered, they have aliens, they're stealing their tech, like Disclosure Day, and there's gray aliens walking around, smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee with the feds, and, Men in Black type stuff. That's one possibility, and I'm sure some people believe that. And then the other possibility is these pilots don't have the clearance to know what they're seeing on their radars. The thing that crashed in Roswell was probably something they didn't want our enemies to know we had, considering we're at a significant technological arms race with the rest of the world. So it's easy for the government to say it's an alien. Just say it's a weather balloon, because the weather balloon is too close to what it actually could have been. So I think when you start breaking down what we could be looking at versus what people think it is, I really want to believe that there's aliens out there, and I have to believe that we're not alone in this universe, whatever the universe is. But I'm not sure these glowing dots on the screen, these things that are described as orbs or spaceships or doing things that physicists can't quite explain. I'm pretty convinced at this point with all these disclosures that it is nothing more than technology that we have that's well beyond anything that our typical pilots don't have the clearance to really understand, right?
Well, it's really scary if it's for an adversary then. I'd rather it be a UFO, a UAP, and something anomalous than a foreign adversary. That means that the United States and North America and Canada and many other countries will not be able to defend themselves potentially about technology that is much more sophisticated than what we have. And I hope that's not the case. I've heard from Skywatcher, this was about a year and a half ago from someone that worked there. Unfortunately, I can't say who, but they did tell me when they were detecting UAPs and they were using, military grade equipment, that they were saying that some of these UAPs were armed. Now, I spoke to Arrow yesterday, funny enough, in an interview, and the former science advisor on my own podcast. And I asked him, of any of the data that's come back to you, have these been armed? And he said no, but maybe not like he's going to tell me. The
Right.
Department of Defense probably would hide that. Same with obviously the Department of War would hide that for a while. But that means then that this is more likely sometimes a foreign adversary. But if they're flying in impunity in airspace, that is a declaration of war, isn't it?